You know what? There's something I realized. Team Fortress 2 and Overwatch are very similar games. They are both first-person team shooters, and they're both fun. However, what I want to do today is compare them. The pros and cons for me, which gameplay style I like more. And yeah, we're just gonna compare them. So I think first we should start with Team Fortress 2. So Team Fortress 2 came out in 2007 and was published by Valve. Despite it being so old, it has a pretty big audience today. There's one core difference that separates it from Overwatch. The playstyling. In Overwatch, you have to stay near your team almost all the time and help each other out. Like how damages will sometimes hide behind tanks because Reinhardt has like a shield or something like that. In Team Fortress 2, there's not really any characters like Reinhardt, mainly because there's only like 9 characters or something like that. However, in Team Fortress 2, you have many characters like the Scout, the Medic, the Heavy, the Devilman. All of these characters have a different playstyle. Well, I mean, besides the characters that have the shotguns, they're pretty similar. But they're all different. And what I usually find myself doing is running around corners as Scout, trying to get a little bit of damage in and telling people that someone's around a corner. And yes, you will do that in Overwatch. However, you are running into battle all the time in Team Fortress 2. There's so much chaos that it's hard to tell what's going on. In Overwatch, you're always near your team most of the time, unless you're crazy and you're just rushing into battle and just getting one shot by like Reinhardt. Basically what I'm trying to say is that in Team Fortress 2 you can run into battle a lot more than you can in Overwatch, which is personally my playstyle, my favorite one at least. However, there's also the microtransactions, but we'll get to that later. In Overwatch, like I've been mentioning already, you're mostly near your team, and without the help of other teammates, you can't succeed. Teamwork is more important in Overwatch than it is in Team Fortress 2. Another thing I want to point out are the characters and story. Now, Team Fortress 2 kind of has a story, although it's only really described and looked into in the comics, which I have not read yet. So yeah. But then Overwatch, its story is like kind of just thrown at you, but then it's also described in more detail. There's an event that goes on in Overwatch called the Archives event, where they will have these campaign-like modes that I believe are canon. I can't remember, but yeah, those are there. In Team Fortress 2, it's just silly mercenary fun. That's really all it is at heart. But the characters, that's different. There are many diverse characters in Overwatch. It's like 20 or 30. But Team Fortress 2 only has 9. But you don't really need that many characters, because Team Fortress 2 is fun anyways. Now, which characters have more interesting development to me, and which ones have better designs? Definitely Team Fortress 2 in my opinion. The cartoony art style of Team Fortress 2 is so diverse, and the character designs all look different, that you would be able to tell what they are behind only by their shadows. What are the pros and cons of each game? To me, Overwatch has decent story, it has great diversity with the characters. However, I feel like it's a little stale. Like the futuristic first-person shooter thing is kind of very main. I mean, basically that type of style is all over the place. Futuristic first-person shooters, they're all over the place. I'm kind of getting sick of it. Another nice thing I like about Overwatch is how generous they are with loot boxes, although this isn't really about gameplay. However, they have a large catalog of cosmetics, and I know Team Fortress 2 does too. However, have you seen the prices in Team Fortress 2? Like, whoa! But Overwatch is very generous with their loot boxes. Every level you get one, there's a lot of events that you get one. Every week in arcade mode, every 3 wins you get a loot box. in Team Fortress 2, only way you can get cosmetics is by paying at least a few dollars for one little cosmetic. Like Heavy has this cute little bird that I really want, but there's no way of paying like $8 for it. So yeah, here are the pros and cons of Team Fortress 2. You get to play on your own if you really want to. Go into the battle, you won't get punished as much as in Overwatch. Because in Overwatch, you get heavily punished. I also like the fact that you can buy and earn different weapons for each character. Unlike Overwatch, where you have a set amount of weapons. Although in Team Fortress 2, you usually only have about 3 weapons. Your melee, which is usually just your fist or like an axe or something. Your primary weapon, of course, and then your secondary weapon. Overwatch has the main weapon, one and like 2 separate abilities, and their ultimates. Team Fortress 2 doesn't have any ultimate abilities or special moves for each character. Could you imagine Team Fortress 2 with specials? Like, what would Pyros be? Like, what would Pyros be? Just a bunch of like extra fire and stuff that like can reach like really far away or something? That's actually a really cool idea. Another great thing about Team Fortress 2 is the voice acting. The voice acting is pretty good. Oh, there's a lot more in Overwatch. So I guess technically Overwatch voice acting is better. But I just love the voices of Heavy and all the other characters. If you were just gonna play one sound clip, anyone who's been around Team Fortress 2 for at least 10 minutes will know who it is probably. Because their voices are all so different. Well, I mean, mostly. However, there are a few cons of Team Fortress 2. Like I said, the lack of extra abilities or special abilities. That would be cool, although the theme of Team Fortress 2 is mercenaries and like war. Which is like, that wouldn't really make sense to have special moves there. It makes sense in Overwatch because it's futuristic and stuff. I guess that's the con of having that kind of themed game. Also, the maps in Team Fortress 2, while they're fun to play, I feel like they get old quicker than Overwatch's maps. Like, Overwatch's maps still get old, but like, not as easily as Team Fortress. Like, they're all still fun, but your eyes just get bored after that. At least mine do. So, I don't really know about that. Oh yeah, another note. Team Fortress 2 is free. And Overwatch is it's like $20 for standard. Legendary Edition is $40. There is a well, you know how Fortnite has saved the world? Well, Team Fortress 2 has something similar to that. I haven't tried it because I'm not going to pay 99 cents just to play one game. But there's something similar like that for Team Fortress 2, where you had the battle robots. Original. And I guess one little note, and I guess one thing could also be their soundtracks. Team Fortress 2 soundtrack, there's not a lot of music in there. I know there's not a lot of music in Overwatch, but there's more. However, the Kozowski kick, that's good. So which one do I think is better? Well, of course, opinions are subjective. I kind of like Team Fortress 2 better. Because the playstyling it has of you being able to go out there by yourself, I just like better than having to stick with your team all the time. Because one bad teammate in Overwatch can pretty much just ruin the game. However, one bad teammate in Team Fortress 2, while yes, it can still ruin a game, it's more likely that it won't. What do you guys think? This video took a lot of work to edit, so I'm not gonna see what you think. No one's watching my videos, but I still want to see what you guys think. Anyways, see you guys later, and don't forget, if you steal my Fortnite card, you're going to Brazil.